Tigerpaw is the end-to-end solution that will help you manage your processes through the marketing phase, through the quote, through installation, through materials procurement, service ticketing, maintenance agreements and contracts, and manage your inventory in multiple warehouse locations. Tigerpaw will streamline your business processes and send transactions from those processes over to your accounting software to update accounts receivable and the general ledger. So sit back now and let me show you how Tigerpaw will streamline your business processes. What you see here is the account view. This is a primary view for Tigerpaw. Whether your focus is on the sales and marketing side of what we offer, the installation, service ticketing, maintenance and agreements, this is the foundation going forward where everything will revolve, because it's here we're going to gather all the information on your client, your customer, their name, their address. We do link to several different mapping softwares such as Google, MapQuest, and several others. We gather all the account phone numbers. These are unlimited. Hot Note will always appear in red to remind you of something important that you need to be reminded of when you bring this account record up. And also on this main page, you will see all the contacts at this site. These are unlimited as well. The green shield indicates that Dr. Harold Johnson is our primary, and each contact will have their own individual phone numbers, fax numbers, email addresses, and maybe a different mailing address other than that on the account record itself. Tigerpaw also supports what we call the journal. The journal is the date and timestamp notes for this one location. Any conversation you may have with a contact at this site, an entry may be made in the note as the outcome. If you wish, you may attach your own user-defined actions to these notes and your own user-defined topics. We can filter these actions and topics from a list view so that you might find all the contacts you had a particular conversation on a particular subject. Also in the journal, take note where you see an invoice was generated. You'll also see service orders, quotes, email correspondence. These types of entries are system entries generated by Tigerpaw as to the date and time they took place and who in your organization caused these to take place. So what you end up with in your journal is a date and timestamp list of everything important that's taken place against this one location. Tigerpaw will also manage your tasks, appointments, and to-dos through the calendar function, and there's several different views of a Tigerpaw calendar. Let's take a look at the group calendar. Here you can see everybody's schedule in one view. You may put individuals into groups and view them as groups. You also have an individual calendar by rep. Now this happens to be the calendar for Charles Summit. Any tasks or appointments that are time sensitive appear on the left. Any non-time sensitive tasks or to-dos appear on the right. You have several different views of your calendar, from the single day, a 5-day view, a weekly view, and a monthly view of your Tigerpaw calendar. As an added option, if you wish, Tigerpaw can keep your Tigerpaw calendar in sync with your Outlook calendar through our Exchange integrator. Tigerpaw will also manage your marketing campaigns. Tigerpaw's marketing philosophy is this: find the needs and wants of your prospect as far as products or services that you offer, group them together with groups of clients that have alike or similar needs in those same products and services, and now mass market to that group, touching many accounts rather than one at a time. That brings us to Tigerpaw's Group Explorer. Here are some account groups defined within this database. Now this particular group I brought up has 68 members. I can communicate with all 68 accounts if I wish by sending them an email. I can send them a mail merge letter. I could batch schedule a task for the reps assigned to make a follow-up call, or I could batch schedule what we call the activity to take place. Now the activity is the marketing tool. It is user definable, and there are certain things that the activity is capable of doing at the account levels. For instance, let's go back to our account view for just a moment. You might define your activity to change the type on all 68 accounts in our group. You might change the status of those accounts. Add or remove the groups those accounts belong to. Now this account belongs to 3 groups. There's no limit to the number of groups any one account might belong. You might also define your activity to add or remove profiles you've assigned to those accounts. No limit here either. But what's more, you could define an email including literature packages to go out to all 68 accounts, or maybe you prefer to send your message out in the form of a mail merge letter, and you may also schedule a task for the sales rep to make a follow-up call after the documentation's been sent. Now you can expand this process if you choose. You may create multiple activities, link them together, and now you have a campaign. Now the campaign is a multi-step process where now each of those 68 accounts would be getting codified by Tigerpaw multiple times, multiple ways, multiple documents being sent in the form of email or mail merge letter, and multiple tasks scheduled for the reps to make those follow-up sales calls. Now if you're sending your marketing out in the form of an email, sending emails is one thing, but how effective is it is something altogether different. Well, let's take a look at email analytics. Here we can take a look at a campaign, and this particular campaign sent 478 emails. Now 9 of those bounced. We delivered 469. This shows me that there were unique opens of 29 accounts. So 29 accounts opened it, and we had 3 accounts open it more than once. Within the body of our email, we embedded a link taking them to our website for more product information. This shows me that there were 23 accounts that not only opened my email, but they actually clicked on the link we provided them, taking them to our website. Now these are those 23 accounts. This button allows me now to group those 23 accounts into another group where now I can mass market to these 23 accounts because they are my most likely prospects out of my entire marketing campaign. At whatever point you consider a prospect to become an opportunity, you may track that opportunity within Tigerpaw. Here we're back at One Stop Dental again, and we can see the opportunities and quotes for this client. An opportunity is just that. In this case, it's an opportunity to sell something to One Stop Dental. When you define your opportunity within Tigerpaw, you will define it as having any number of stages. Now mine has 6, from the qualifying stage through the closing after the sale. You may have more stages in your process, you may have less, you name what you choose, but this then becomes your sales cycle. And as you track your prospect from stage to stage in this process, each time they go to a new stage, that within Tigerpaw can trigger off another activity to fire. And if you remember, you can define that activity to codify their individual account, send documentation in the form of email or mail merge letter, and again set another task for the sales rep to make the follow-up call. Now there are forecasting reports included in Tigerpaw's Reports Explorer. Here we may attach a percentage as a probability we feel this will close by this date. That's straight forecasting. I may also attach an expected dollar amount I feel this opportunity may generate with a best case, worst case scenario. If I populate these fields, I will have an added look in Tigerpaw's sales funnel reports and the sales pipeline reports. Note 2, we're tracking the lead source so that I may determine where is my marketing getting me the best return. Now no doubt somewhere in this process you're going to want the quote to come out of this. I can generate the quote on the opportunity, I can generate it at the account level or by search. Quotes may be attached to opportunities. These quotes belong to this particular opportunity. You may have any number of quotes attached to an opportunity if you choose. Here is the quote. A quote may be created from a template. You can create quotes with detail, save them, use them over and over again. Bring up Tigerpaw's price list, add items to the quote. Select items you wish to remove from the quote if you don't need them. You may import detail into a Tigerpaw quote. If you're working with one of these vendors or manufacturers and using their configurator tool to come up with the detail for this particular quote, you can import that directly into a Tigerpaw quote. You also may bring in a generic text file. As long as your text file is in this format, you may bring this into the line item detail of a Tigerpaw quote as well. If we take a look at this particular item, inventories tell me how many of these I have available. There's the price level we quoted the client. You may create multiple price levels depending on the different levels you sell products and services. Name these what you choose, create as many as you like. All user definable, unlimited. I may discount this one line item if I choose by changing the sell price. Or by clicking the calculator, I can discount this one line item as a percentage discount, a markup percentage, or a margin percentage, which will affect just this one line item on just this one quote. I may also apply an adjustment across everything on the quote if I choose. This one's discounted by 5%. I could offer a discount flat dollar amount, change the total sell price, or once again plug in a margin as a percentage, and that would affect everything on the quote to hit that margin. I can also turn this quote into a lease. By clicking a leasing option here, I can now go out to Great America Leasing and quote real-time lease rates to my client if this is going to be a lease. Now since this quote was discounted at 5%, my contact is Dr. Harold Johnson, before I put the quote into the hands of my client, I want to know exactly where I'm at on this quote. Well, if I have security rights to see the manager's tab, I see the breakdown. There's my material cost, my labor cost, a combined total cost, my profit, and this is sitting at a 55% margin. Note here, Tigerpaw is letting me know the needed hours are 12.5 hours, and I've only quoted 12. So this is telling me I'm about a half hour short of the hours that Tigerpaw has computed that I need for these material items. I could go back out and bump the labor. If I'm comfortable with these numbers, I can email this quote directly over to my client. Now we give you several outputs of what this quote will look like, all using Crystal Reports. I'm going to show you the proposal. It's simple to put your logo on printed documents. Here's our cover page going to One Stop Dental, and here's the detail, including pictures. If you have pictures associated with your price book items in Tigerpaw, we'll print those with the line item detail on the proposal. Now that you have the proposal in the hands of the client, if they should approve the proposal, this is internal approval, this can trigger workflows. And workflows can notify individuals, in this case, that this is going to be an installation. That might be my project managers, my people who do parts ordering, or anyone in my organization that needs to know now that this is going to be an installation. They will get an email notification or a pop-up on their screen letting them know that through workflow. Now, since this has been approved within Tigerpaw, as far as Tigerpaw is concerned, we know this will be one or more invoices. Now, how it gets to those invoices is dependent on how you process this. You have some options. If you process it as a work order, Tigerpaw creates a pick ticket, an invoice, and this would ship out the door as a sale. If this is going to be an installation with one or more installation tickets or a multi-phase project, we would create service orders for this quote. Here's a quote that was for a media center to be installed in this client's conference room. Here's the detail that was on the quote, and when the quote was converted, it created 3 separate service orders and it created a project. Now, Tigerpaw could also have created one service ticket for all the detail, but this was something of a little larger scope or nature, and there were 3 phases, 3 service tickets, all added to the project. So let's take a look at the project that came from this quote. Here's our project. We're on the timeline. Here's the originating quote. There could be one or more quotes attached to our project. There are our service orders attached to the individual phases, bringing the items in per phase. Here are the phases. The phases are the step that the project's going to go through in the installation. These are unlimited. They can be templated. You can create as many as you need. Let's take a look at the pre-wire phase. Every phase has an expected start date, an expected completion date. We will compare with the actual date it started, actual date that it completed. You may assign an engineer in charge of the phase, and you may define checklist of items that must be completed before the phase is done. Here again, you can template these, create these on the fly for more checklist items. Back on the project, managing all of your tasks. These are tasks on the calendars for individuals that are scheduled to work the project. This is managing the resources. Now, as they start to work the project and track the amount of time, those are time log entries on the service tickets. So here's a 3-hour time entry that Ken has put against our project. All purchasing attached to the service orders. You may have one or more purchase orders all attached to the individual service orders with their own order by date to get the items in for this particular installation. We'll give you a list of everything that has been ordered but not yet received against the project. We're still waiting on these 2 items. We're going to track the profit and the budget for you at the project level. Here's the total sale price of this project. The customer had an approved budget of $3,000. They're under budget, and we set the warning threshold to alert us when the project reaches $2,000 in completion. There again is workflow alerting us when this project is at $2,000 complete. We're going to invoice at the project level. Typically, most people choose to use progressive invoicing. Here's the total of our project. We can do percentages of that total or flat rate dollar amounts, creating any number of invoices we like up until the time we let Tigerpaw calculate the final invoice when we're done. As you work the project, we're going to give you reports. Timeline, summary, outline, work in progress, job costing. So the whole idea of the project is let the project manager manage the resources, get it scheduled on individuals' calendars, get the deliverables ordered with the purchase orders, track the installation of those deliverables on the service tickets, track the time spent by the technicians, invoice for the project as it's going through the process, and send the transactions from those invoices over to your accounting software to update accounts receivable general ledger. Now, once items have been sold to your customer, whether they were sold through a break-fix ticket, through an installation ticket, or a multi-phase project, those items do in fact end up in that customer's asset records, and you may choose to put them under some sort of agreement or contract. Well, let's take a look at agreements and contracts for this customer. Now, agreements and contracts can be used separately. I'm going to show you by using them together to capture the power of a contract and agreement. Now, the agreement, in this case, is the upfront billing that you're going to charge the customer for the services, whatever that may be. If you're a managed services provider, you might have your agreement attached to a remote monitoring management tool, and Tigerpaw will pull assets and maintain assets for you. We actually have integrations to several RMM tools such as Enable, Level Platforms, Continuum, Kaseya, and several others. Now, you don't have to have an RMM tool to use the agreements, and in this case, the agreement's going to dictate what we're charging the customer for services. Now, the contract on the back side is attached right here. This is the contract. Now, contracts can be time-based, hourly-based, incident-based, or dollar-based, depending on the types of contracts you offer your customer. So the agreement's going to be for the upfront billing. The contract's going to maintain the service you provide to perform those services for the client. Where the power of this comes in is in the automated billing. Here, this agreement is going to be billed monthly. You can bill it in any cycle you choose, but this one's going to be billed monthly, and it's going to be billed on the first of the month. You decide what day of the month you want it billed. You can determine, do you want Tigerpaw to email the invoice to the customer automatically? Here, by setting this flag, this lets me know that this one will be invoiced on the first of the month, and it will send the invoice to the contact I designated to get these invoices at that site. Now, Tigerpaw will also process the credit card if you're going through our gateway of B&G Holdings. So in this case, if I want this processed on the 3rd, it's going to hit my customer's MasterCard on the 3rd and make this all touch-free billing. Even if you decide that you do not want Tigerpaw to process the credit card or the automated clearinghouse transaction, you may set this to do not process, and Tigerpaw will still create the invoice and email the invoice over to your client. Now, the reason that we want to have the contract attached to the agreement is we want to maintain all cost or revenue that we expend in providing the services for our customer. The reason we do that is for profitability reporting. Let's take a look at the report. This is Tigerpaw's Reports Explorer. These are the categories of the reports we ship. We're shipping well over 600 crystal reports with Tigerpaw. I'm going to show you an agreement profitability report here, and we'll do this for the same agreement that we were just on. The idea of this report is to show me all revenue that got generated from the billing, any revenue generated from contract invoices, any costs such as monitoring cost, labor material cost, and providing services. So what you have here is a profitability report giving you the information you need to make an informed decision when it comes time to renew this agreement. Service ticketing is a major piece of what you're going to be doing, and service tickets we've already established can come into Tigerpaw attached to an installation, to a multi-phase project, but these service tickets may also come in as a break-fix ticket, possibly attached to an agreement or a contract, but tickets can come into Tigerpaw in a variety of different ways. Once into Tigerpaw, they end up on our dispatch board. Think of the dispatch board as a graphical calendar view of your technician's scheduling. Here you can define multiple boards depending on how you like to classify your tickets. You may filter and change the board style from a weekly view of viewing all of your technicians' schedules to a specific tech you choose to view, or maybe from a group of techs. Techs may be put into any number of groupings. Maybe you group your techs by skill set. You also may view a daily view of your dispatch board by all techs or groups. You can filter the orders you wish to schedule by a received date range, a requested service date range, type of ticket you choose to schedule, status, all user definable, or maybe a particular area in your service zone you wish to schedule in. Depending on how you set your filter will be how you see the orders that need to be scheduled. Now in this case, I've got a virus detected here that I'm going to give to Ken Anderson. So I drag it over here and I drop it on Ken's name. I can define the time Ken will be there. This is putting a task on Ken's calendar, blocking out this time. I can see who else is available if I need to send someone else to accompany Ken. This assigns this to Ken and can notify him via workflow has been assigned to the ticket, and now we see 5 of his 8 hours have been scheduled. That is a 63% utilization of his scheduled time, and so far at a glance I can see that Ken has actually logged 10.5 hours on this given day. Now if I want to schedule this and change it, I can drag it over to another technician if I need to assign it to someone else. Now if I right click this entry, this takes me right over to the service order. Now this is a virus detected. In the work requested, I could freehand type here. I could pick from a library of these that have been created in the master tables. I can do that as well as the work performed. I also have the option to use templates. This shows me the list of templates that I've predefined. So these things that you do on a somewhat repetitive basis, create templates and pre-populate these tickets to save lots of time. In this case, we have one for virus removal. It will update these fields on my service order. Tigerpaw has now applied the template to this order and pre-populated these fields for me. Notice the tasks. There's the action plan. There's the task, step-by-step process that I want the technician to complete in the order I wish them to complete them to take care of this virus situation. The whole process is mapped out. Now if these are recurring types of situations, I can make this ticket recurring by picking the recurring pattern that I choose, daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. How many days prior to me needing this ticket do I want Tigerpaw to create it? So by using this as a recurring order, it does not flood my dispatch board nor my service order list view with all my future tickets. It's only creating the ticket just prior to me needing it. Once again, saving me lots and lots of time on creating these service tickets. Now if I need to work with subcontractors, I can assign responsibilities to a service ticket as to what subcontractors do for me. This list is all user definable. If I need someone to do electrical at this site, I can assign that responsibility. I then can filter my subs that do electrical in that geographic location, assigning the one I want, detail in this work requested what it is I want that sub to do, and email this information all over to the subcontractor. I may have any number of subcontractors all attached to the same ticket with their own individual instructions as to what they need to do. If you're tracking the time that Ken Anderson spends on this, these are time log entries. Time logs are by tech, in this case, Ken Anderson, and by reason code. These again are user definable. He's going on site. In the work performed, he can detail what he did here. He can freehand type this, or he can again pick from a list of library comments that you create in the master tables. All he has to do is record the amount of time he spent. Tigerpaw will calculate the end time of this and bring the detail over to the work performed of the ticket, all date and time stamped. If Ken is finished, he changes the status to ready for billing. That triggers a workflow to notify someone internally that he's updated the ticket. They then can verify the detail, take this to invoice, and email the invoice to your client. Now if you're a manager, to manage the time that a technician spends, this view is called Timesheets. Here on the Timesheets view, whether I'm a technician or a manager, I can view all of my jobs for the week. In this case, there's the jobs Charles Summit has done. These are the accounts that he's done service tickets for. These are the individual days and the amount of time spent. You can click on a cell that shows you the time entries that were created for that particular day. If I'm a manager, I can choose to either approve or question this time entry. If I question it, it alerts the technician. If I approve it, it gives it the green check, and the technician is locked out of this time entry. So here is a place where, whether I'm a technician, I can manage all of my time entries for the week. If I'm a manager, it's here I can make adjustments to time entries, I can question, I can approve. Tigerpaw breaks down the time from your time worked versus available time, your utilization time and percentage of utilization. Utilized time used to be figured just as billable or contract chargeable. Well, it is utilized time, but there's also utilized time that may not be contract chargeable or invoiceable. We also keep track of your invoice and contract time versus total time logged. There are list views within Tigerpaw, account list views, contract list views. This is the service order list view. Here you have a filtered view of the service tickets. Now every column has a filter. Every column can be sorted. You may have multiple sorts, multiple filters. I can define any number of filters I like, name them, save them, and pick them from the drop-down. From this view, I can enter expenses against a ticket. I can make a time entry. I can view the ticket. I can email the technician with a question if I wish, right from this view. As I mentioned earlier, these tickets that we see here could have come in a variety of different ways. Whether someone placed a call to your organization and someone recorded it, whether you're a managed services provider and your RMM tool created an alert generating your service ticket, if you give your customers access to the email connector, which is an add-on option that lets your customers create service tickets via email, or maybe you give your customers access to the customer portal. Through that portal, they can create service tickets as well. Tigerpaw will also manage your inventory in multiple warehouse locations. Let's take a look at a price book item, for instance. And this particular item, we do have 82 of these on hand. 3 of them are reserved, which means they're attached to jobs but not yet finished. That leaves me 79 available to sell at this moment, and I have 1 on a purchase order that has yet to be received. On the locator, I can show the location we carry these items in. Tigerpaw supports multiple warehouse locations. We have 80 of these items in our main warehouse, and we have 2 of them in a staging location. This item is serialized. There's the serial numbers, current status, current location. If you have to exchange items for your customer, taking a serialized item out of your stock, exchanging it for a defective item at your client site, bringing that defective item back into your stock, and RMAing that to a vendor for replacement or credit, Tigerpaw keeps track of all serial numbers, all item IDs in that process, so nothing falls through the cracks and everything stays in sync. We can transfer items from one location to another. So if I need to transfer something from, let's say, a main warehouse to, let's say, a truck, anything I put on this form is coming out of my main warehouse 1 and going into this truck. They stay in this truck unless I put them into a job. If they get put into a job, we'll relieve them out of your inventory when we complete the invoice. If they do not get put into a job, they stay checked out to that truck, so you have total inventory movement. You know where everything is at all times. Now, every user in Tigerpaw has their own dashboard view. Depending on what your focus is, whether it happens to be on the sales and marketing side of what Tigerpaw offers, whether it be on the service ticketing, that depends on what's displayed in your 6 different panels of your dashboard. Now, what you see in your individual panels is depending on what you pick, whether it be company-wide information in these categories. You have the same options under personal information, which is referencing you as the logged-in rep. In this case, there's our opportunity funnel. If I want to see the opportunities that make up that stage of my funnel, clicking that data set shows me all those opportunities, which now I can further drill down by clicking on the opportunity and go right into the document. If I'm looking at invoices, these are the invoices that are 121 days or older. Again, I can click on the invoice to bring that detail up. This is a floating panel. I could drag this over to another monitor, leave this up and running. This auto refreshes every minute and a half. So what I have here is up to the minute current information. Now, when we started this presentation, we were on an account view, and it was this account for One Stop Dental. And I mentioned to you that this is the foundation going forward, no matter what it is you do. We do document linking. We can link a document to the account, to a service order for the account, a quote, an invoice, a maintenance contract, or a sales opportunity. We can scan the document right into Tigerpaw. Here we see all the opportunities and quotes. There's every quote we've done for this site. There's every opportunity. We talked about items that get sold to the customer going into their asset records. These are the customer's assets. These are assets that they have purchased. These may be managed assets being monitored by an RMM tool. I can see the service history, and we had 1 service ticket on that item. I can view all the service history for this one location. Here is every service ticket for this one location. If you need to keep passwords and usernames on your customer's equipment, here we can see Dr. Johnson's username of his PC and his password. I have to have security rights to see this. Same with the server. We keep the detail, the history, anytime anybody viewed it, any changes made. We record the change and what the entry used to be. All this information is recorded at the item level for your client. We can see all their projects, all their contracts. So what you end up with is a 360-degree view of everything you've ever done for this client in one place. Here you saw Tigerpaw as the end-to-end solution that can take your processes from the sales and marketing to the quote, installation, service ticket, maintenance and agreements, manage your inventory, and send transactions over to accounting. For more information on Tigerpaw and the power of Tigerpaw, Please visit www.tigerpawsoftware.com or contact your Tigerpaw representative.